What if one small change in your daily routine could change your entire body, could change your energy levels and your mindset before 2026 even gets here? Hey, family, and welcome to Good Talk with Tiffany Santana, where we have good talk with great people who help us live our best lives. Today's conversation is right on time because as we close out this year, many of us are trying to figure out how to reset our health and wellness, but we get overwhelmed just thinking about where to start. My guest, wellness coach Portia Craig, knows that feeling all too well. Her own wellness journey began when she realized the headaches, the fatigue, the stomach pain, they were all connected. And with one change, she felt better the same day. In this episode, Portia breaks down what sustainable wellness looks like for the busy woman, balancing your hormones, getting real about your stress levels, paying attention to your routines, and making adjustments that actually fit your life. No pressure, no perfection, just practical steps that make you feel better from the inside out. Before we get into it, make sure you download the Good Talk Takeaway Guide for this episode. It's in the description. It has a whole section designed to help you get a jump start on your 2026 health and wellness. Enjoy this episode, y'all. All right, Portia, it's so great to have you with me. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having
So
me.
good. I'm excited about our conversation. Before we talk about hormones and meal prep and routines, I want to ask you this. What was the moment when you realized in your health that something had to change and that you couldn't keep going at the rate you were going?
So it's been a 10-year journey for
Oh,
me.
wow.
Honestly, I started really taking my health seriously 10 years ago. I was still a college student. I was juggling so many different things at once, different extracurricular activities, trying to maintain good grades in my classes. And I was just staying up late, eating anything that I wanted, went to that cafe, and I just wasn't taking my health seriously. But my junior year, I started to experience these very intense migraines
Oh, wow.
that kept me up all night long. And I did not understand why. And every time I would go back to my parents to visit during breaks, they would serve me dinner and then I would just go back on the sofa and just curl up because my stomach was in a lot of pain.
Oh, wow.
And I experienced this for around a year, and eventually I thought to myself, "This just must be normal for me. I must just have to live like this." But on my birthday, I was curled up in pain and my stomach was hurting, and I'm like, "This does not make sense. This is not normal. I should
Mhm.
be out having good fun on my birthday, and instead I'm here on the chair in pain." So I called my doctor, made an appointment, and surprisingly, she said instead of prescribing me medication, she talked about my diet and she told me, "Why don't you cut out gluten from your diet and see how you feel?" And I cut out gluten. I had no migraines.
Wow.
For the first time, that day, I was like, "My stomach, it's not in pain anymore. I didn't have headaches. I wasn't up all night." So, it was in that moment where I finally connected in a way, okay, what I eat is related to how I'm feeling in my body.
Wow. Wow, that's really something. So how soon it sounds like it happened almost instantly, that change when you changed your diet. How soon after that did you start to see those symptoms go away?
It was the same day.
Wow.
It was the same day. I
Wow.
said, "You know what? I'm not gonna eat any of the processed bread," because I always used to eat quick peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because
Mhm.
I was just so busy. I didn't eat any of the bread, and by the end of the day, I was like, "My stomach, this is so shocking.
Wow.
I'm not in pain. I don't have a headache. My mood is better." It was literally same day
Wow.
difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is really powerful and impactful
Mhm.
because I feel like a lot of people either, like you said, A, go to drugs first or something pharmaceutical, or they think that it's going to take a long time because they've been eating this way for a long time. But it's really encouraging to hear that for you, it
Mhm.
happened pretty instantaneously.
Mhm.
That's awesome. So, When you noticed that your body began to change with your diet, what was the most surprising thing to you?
The most surprising thing for me was, as you mentioned, just how quick it happened. I wasn't expecting my symptoms to go away so quickly. Also, how much clearer my mind felt. I felt a lot more productive because I wasn't distracted by how much pain I was in. So it was almost like a cloud had lifted off of me, and I just walked around and I'm like, "I haven't felt this way in so long." And it just goes to show you don't realize until you make that lifestyle shift, you don't realize the cloud that you've been walking in until you actually make the change, and you just realize, "Wow, this old way of living really had me down and in a fog." So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's really something. And it's important to highlight too what you said about the connection between your brain and how you're thinking and your body. I think
Mhm,
sometimes we forget that our brain is a part of our body. And so some of the things that we put into our bodies and some of the
mhm,
practices that we have are really impacting how we think and our ability to focus and be productive and not
mhm.
be distracted by the things that are happening in your body. So I think that's such a
Exactly.
good point. What made you say after you began to take note of your diet and really get into health and wellness?
Mhm.
What was the moment that you said, I need other women to know how to do this and I need to help other women?
We just I I think our own experiences should be shared with other people because I was super busy in college, just starting out my career. It was just a really busy time. And I know a lot of women are juggling with so much, or they may even be moms already. And there's a lot happening in their lives. And I'm sure that they might be consuming foods that maybe they're not even thinking about how it's affecting their body, they don't realize it, because that was me. That was me, I was just so busy, I didn't even give second thought to what I was eating, how I was living. So, I don't wanna keep it in. I don't think it's good to keep my experiences in, and I'm really hoping that a lot of women out there can relate to what I'm saying.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
know they can because
Mhm.
especially when you're working or you're a working mom, a
Mhm.
lot of times you're just eating. You're just trying to get something in your system so you can get on to the
Mhm.
next thing.
Mhm.
And we don't take the time to really think about what that could be doing to us internally. We're just
Mhm.
eating out of necessity and
Mhm.
grabbing sometimes the quickest thing and the easiest thing, which may not necessarily be the healthiest thing. So
Right.
I know there are people who can relate to that. When you are so now you've started to work with women
Yeah.
as a wellness coach?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
excellent. So what do you notice are the biggest mental or emotional barriers that women have in starting to take charge of their health? Hey, lady, let me ask you a question. What would change in your life if you could communicate with authority, with clarity, and with confidence in every single room you'd find yourself in? Not louder, not bossier, just clearer, stronger, and more secure in who you are and what you carry. If that's something that made you sit up a little straighter, I want you to join me for the Confident Communicator Challenge for Women. This 5-day results driven coaching experience is designed to help you break old communication patterns that may be holding you back, stop second guessing yourself, and show up with confidence everywhere at work, at home, in your ministry, and in your purpose. In 5 powerful days, I'm going to help you find your voice again. Stop rambling and speak with clarity. Communicate your thoughts without overthinking. Ask better questions, create deeper connections, and show up with the authority that God's already placed on the inside of you. And the best part, you won't be doing it alone. You'll be surrounded by a powerful community of like minded women who are on the same journey as you, trying to get better as communicators. If you're tired of holding back, shrinking, stumbling over your words, or being misunderstood, this challenge is your turning point. You can't take your old communication skills into your next best season of greatness. Click the link below and join us. 5 days, real coaching, real results, and a more confident you on the other side. Click the link below.
I think it's just a comparison a lot. You see a lot through social media and you see what's worked for some people, and you start to think, will that really work for me? So I think a lot of women, and me myself sometimes, it's so easy to fall into that trap of comparison. I can't be like her. I'll never reach that weight like her. But it's just important. We're all on our individual journeys. And one thing I want to point out is social media, when it comes to if women see other women that they want to be like them, when they look at that, they don't see the journey before then. And social media, it's literally just a snippet, a snippet. It seems perfect, but each person went through their own journey. And so they started not in a good place.
That's so true.
Mhm.
For quite a while, I was a bodybuilder, amateur bodybuilder. And one of the things that I used to absolutely love was going to these competitions and watching people. By the time they get on stage, they look phenomenal. There's no fat, they're all muscle. And then you hear their stories, and there were people who were 300 pounds and started doing this thing. And in a few years, they were on stage, or
Mhm.
people with physical challenges like cerebral palsy and things like that, just deciding that they're going to take the time to work on themselves. Again, like you said, not making comparisons to anyone else's journey, but walking their own journey, which can be challenging because we have so much pressure in social media, and people are even afraid to go to the gym because they think they're going to be judged there. And so I think that's such an important point, to just focus on you, your health, your journey, the body you have to live in.
Exactly.
No one else has to live in that body. So I said that's so important. When you talk about comparison, I want to go a little bit deeper too. In the wellness space, and we talked about all of the things that are out there, what do you see as far as women making comparisons to other women? Do you hear women saying, my sister, she's always been a size 2 and I'll never be that? Or do you hear women saying some of those things like that?
I do hear that. And even on social media, I see it. And there's so many trends. It seems like trends here, trend there. Oh, this woman got them with this method and that method. And then you just get lost. And that's where organically rooted comes in, because I want women to get back to the center of what's truly important and really, really honing in on their own journey instead of being swayed by everything that is being thrown at them and everything that they see. And if that means taking a small social media detox so you can stop with the comparison all the time, then do it.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I want to ask you what comparison looks like. What have you seen in the wellness space as far as women making comparisons?
So, what I see a lot of is women looking at these different trends, or this woman followed this particular diet and lost weight, but that woman followed this particular diet and lost weight, or they did this, they did that. And it can leave you feeling a bit confused,
Hmm.
because you're asking yourself, okay, that worked for that woman. That worked for that woman. What's going to work for me? Maybe I can be like her. Maybe I can be like her. But as we were talking about earlier, it's so important to just focus on your own journey.
Yes.
What works for one woman might not work for you. Our bodies are different, and we are individual people, and what works for one may not work for another. It's just all about figuring out what works for you individually instead of just following this trend because it worked for her, and just focusing on you, even maybe even journaling what you're feeling, writing down what you're eating. Okay, how do I feel after I eat this? Or how do I feel when I do this particular workout?
That's really good. That's so
Yeah.
important,
Mhm.
because I think when we really shift the focus to what are my needs? What are
Mhm.
my physical needs? What are my emotional needs? What are my personal goals? Not necessarily comparing my goals to someone else's, and really tying them to a solid why.
Mhm.
I think also when we make comparisons, the reason why we want to do things becomes more superficial.
Mhm.
So I love that, really focusing on making sure that you're doing the things that are necessary for you.
Exactly.
So good. There are lots of women who feel like they've tried everything, and probably because they're chasing all these diets and
Mhm.
trends.
Mhm.
What would you say to a woman who maybe feels a little hopeless and like she's just going to give up and just eat whatever she wants and do whatever she wants because nothing works?
Well, first, I would say if she's like, "Oh, I wanna eat whatever I want," I would ask her, "But how do you feel when you do that? How do you feel? How do you think you will feel if you go back to just living and just eating what you want and just living however you wanna live?" And then when they realize, "Oh, I wouldn't really feel that great," I would offer them a solution. Okay, so if you know that you don't feel that great going back, you know there has to be a solution. So it's a lot of inner work that needs to be done, lots of reflection, taking quiet time, and just blotting out the noise and just realizing, okay, I really want to better my health. I know that there's a way because if I do go back, I'll feel worse. I'll feel worse. So that's what I would recommend
That's
a
really
woman
good.
do.
And I think in doing that, because
Mhm.
I think a lot of times we attribute certain ways that we feel to other things. I'm
Mhm.
always tired because I'm always working.
Mhm.
But you might be always tired because of the things that are in your body or because
Exactly.
you're not exercising.
Exactly.
People are always surprised that exercising gives you more energy, not less.
Mhm.
And so I think that's so true. You said that you learned that health isn't about restricting, but about balancing.
Mm.
Can you break down what balance can mean for a busy woman?
Balance means first not beating yourself up. If you set a goal for yourself, for example, okay, the holidays are coming up. Okay, for example, balance is not feeling guilty for indulging in a treat every once in a while during the holidays, not restricting yourself and being like, "Oh my gosh, I need to, just be so healthy 100% of the time." It's so important to still enjoy yourself and just realize on your journey, like there will be moments when you fall, but it's just all a matter of getting back up. That's so, so important. And just finding the time, even if it's 5 to 10 minutes a day, of just really establishing what you want to get done during the day. This whole journey, it's not a race, it is a marathon. So, with balance, it's all about being 1% better every day, and that can lead you to a more balanced life. So, this week, I eat out every Wednesday, for example. Okay, this Wednesday, I'm going to cook my own food at home. That's an example of balance for me and just being 1% better every day.
That's really good. So,
Yeah.
not necessarily restricting, but
Right.
maybe altering or
Right.
adjusting to make a better choice.
Exactly.
That's so good. And that's so freeing because I
Mhm.
want sweet potato pie for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yep.
But the next day,
Yes.
maybe doing a little extra exercise or making
Exactly.
sure I don't have it for breakfast the next day like I would have last year.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's really good. And I think people
Mhm.
need to hear that
Mhm.
it doesn't necessarily mean restricting, but being smarter about
Right.
how you do these things. If
Exactly.
you like sweets, then maybe I not restrict, but maybe I choose
Right.
sweets 1 day a week,
Exactly.
so I can still have it, but I don't have to do it every single day. And
Exactly.
it's not restriction, it's really, balance for improvement of your health. So
Exactly.
that's really good.
Exactly. I like to look at it as an 80-20 approach.
Mm,
So, or 90-10, whatever you prefer. So, 80%, you focus on eating whole, balanced foods. And then the 20%, during the holidays, for example, you can indulge in the treats that you want to.
that's
But no one
good.
is ever perfect. I don't think perfection is definitely not the goal.
That's so good.
Mhm.
I also hear you saying that wellness isn't just what you eat or just exercise. I hear you talking about lots of things. I hear you talking about how you think. I hear you talking about choices. I hear you talking about exercise. I hear you talking about food.
Mhm.
So, how would you define wellness or approaching wellness?
So I look at it as an acronym. So LEAN stands for lifestyle, exercise, attitude, and nutrition. And
Love
notice
it.
nutrition is last. And it's a mindset shift because what you think, the more you think about something, that can soon become your reality. I'm a firm believer in that. So going back, if you're constantly comparing and saying, "Oh, I'm never going to be like her," the more you think about that and the more you're like, "Oh, I don't ever think I'm going to get to that weight," then that might become your reality. The more that you think it, that can become reality. So I think that lifestyle in general is not all about the food, but it's about just how you live your day to day. What do you do when you first wake up in the morning? Are you scrolling on social media before you say your prayers? Are you drinking water first thing in the morning? How are you living your day to day life? Are you being present? That's another big one.
That's so good.
Mhm,
I want to zero into, I don't want to move too past it.
mhm,
First, I want you to repeat your acronym because I want
mhm.
everybody to hear it. Lean.
Lean. So it stands for lifestyle, exercise, attitude, and nutrition.
So good. I'm stealing. I'm a framework girl. So anything
Yeah.
that's an acronym or framework, I'm all
Mhm,
over it. And you said something else that I think is really interesting too. And I want you to lean into that a little bit more, lean into it
mhm,
a little bit more.
mhm.
You talked about starting your day. Tell me a little bit more about the importance of starting your day on the good foot
It's
first thing in the morning.
Yeah, so it's so important to start your day on the right foot because if the first thing you reach for is your phone and you're scrolling on social media, your brain is already going to be overstimulated. And you might see something that will trigger you, and then that's going to ruin your entire day if you see that. So, starting out on the right foot, being present in the morning, gratitude for being alive, and just taking your time in the morning can make a huge difference. And if that means using an alarm clock instead of your phone as an alarm clock in the morning, do that. Put your phone away the night before in a separate room if that needs to be done.
That's really good.
Mhm.
I heard you say in the morning,
Yeah.
there's something you can do physically for your body, like
Mhm.
drinking water with lemon, and
Mhm.
then something that you can do psychologically and emotionally, like prayer and gratitude. So I love that. Again, a
Mhm.
more holistic
Mhm.
approach to wellness.
Mhm.
Lean.
Yes.
I like
And
that.
it's amazing how when you start the day right, it ripples into the rest of the day. So when I start my day like that, I notice my students are calmer.
Mhm.
And it makes such a difference.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And couple that with what you said,
Mhm.
journaling,
Yes.
you know, really taking inventory of what your day looks like.
Mhm.
How did my day go when I started it that way? Let's
Mhm.
journal that.
Mhm.
How did it go when I woke up and like a bat out of you know where just went
Mhm.
barreling into my day? What was the effect of that? So being, I
Mhm.
guess, intentional about what you're doing and how you're doing
Exactly.
it and the result of
Exactly.
that. That's really good. Can you talk about the connection between stress hormones and why so many women are feeling like their bodies are fighting against them?
We're just we're being overstimulated everywhere through just being busy, through social media, through just notifications all the time, through the stresses of work. And it all can really affect our hormones because our cortisol level will go up significantly when we're stressed. And that can affect how we feel during our monthly cycles and everything that you feel during the month, all the emotions, all the stress can affect your hormones and how you feel and can even cause issues to come up and you wonder why, but I'm eating this way. I've heard a lot of stories of people who, yes, they ate really healthy, but yet they still developed conditions, and they were wondering, "Okay, I don't understand. I'm eating a really clean diet." It's the stress. It's the stress. Unforgiveness towards people can really cause disease to happen in the body. So those are it's all interconnected.
Wow, that's
Mhm.
huge. So,
Yeah.
what does elevated cortisol do in a woman's body?
So it definitely elevates stress levels, but it just causes you to just overthink and to just become more emotional and really, how can I describe it? It can just cause just havoc in your mind and the way that you think. And you just feel like you're going on autopilot and you really don't know what's happening. I know for me too, certain months, if it's been a super stressful month for me, I lack sleep. I don't get as much sleep as I should. So that can definitely affect how your hormones function and what you feel during that time in the month or even after. If you don't go through periods anymore, that can affect menopause symptoms as well.
Wow, that's really something. How did you discover that your spiritual life impacts your wellness?
Amazing. That's so amazing. I honestly, I one thing that comes to mind is our bodies are a temple. Our bodies are a temple and we only have one. And knowing that, knowing that we have sacred temples, I don't want to put anything that will contaminate it a lot, like just over junk food. I don't want to put so much in my body that it will contaminate my temple. I also don't want my lifestyle to negatively affect my mind and everything. So it's definitely all connected. When you think of it like that, we don't get multiple temples. We
Mhm.
literally only have this one body that God created. How are we going to take care of it?
That's so good. And it doesn't belong to
It
us.
doesn't know.
So we
No,
have to be good stewards of our bodies.
exactly.
Wow, that's really good. Why do you believe women can't separate their health from their faith or their mindset?
It's just because when you try to do that, it takes away from why we were here. I feel like we're here on this earth to glorify God and to fulfill our purpose and what He has for us. And how can we do that if we're not in the best health or not taking care of our bodies, our minds, our spirits? So it's all connected like that. When we do that, we can really live out God's purpose for us when we really take the time to be like, okay, how can I tend to my temple and do the best I can so that I can serve others in my purpose?
So good. I think that's so important too for people to hear, not just the everyday lay person that is here on purpose, but I think there are so many pastors
Hmm.
that don't take good care of themselves and don't take care of their health and they're always doing for the people. I think a lot of us are like that. And
Yeah.
then we forget that we're not going to be effective in doing all those things if we're not taking care of this body. And so, just like you said, everything is connected. We can't
Hmm.
really separate, our minds and our faith from
Hmm.
this body that we have to walk out our faith
Exactly.
with. That's so good. What role does prayer and scripture and gratitude play in you creating a sustainable wellness journey?
So it's amazing because scripture, it covers literally every aspect of life. If there is for anything that you can think of that we go through in this life, there's a scripture that's applied to it. So I know that thinking about it in that way can really help me to tune in and focus. Okay, this is how God designed it. So this is how I want to live it instead of just being consumed by what other people are saying, what other people are putting in your ear about what's the best wellness journey. I think going back to scripture and seeing, okay, what did God say about this can really help me stay focused and grounded with what's really important.
That's good. Because just like you said, when we're on social media and we're looking at 10 gazillion ways to do a
Hmm.
thing, there's all that you have to
Mhm.
read through. And scripture can sometimes be just so clear and
Exactly.
direct when
Mhm.
we really read and understand.
Mhm.
It's not overcomplicated.
No.
It's pretty simple in that way. You shared with me about one of your clients who had a pretty substantial weight loss in a short amount of time.
Mhm.
Beyond the physical results, what changed in her personally? And what role did you have in that? And how did you feel about that?
So when I first started working with her, she was just very tired. She was juggling a lot, working at a daycare, had a husband, had a family, kids. She was just juggling so much and her mindset wasn't the most positive mindset. And she just came to me and she just said, I need help. I really want help in this. I really want to change the way I eat. I want to change the way that I think. And by working with her and seeing what she really needed by the end, there was such a difference with her mindset. She said, Portia, I'm happier. I am so much happier now than I was before I started working with you. And I think that makes a huge difference. You want to be happy. You don't want to live and not be happy with your life. So I was so proud. And I could just tell her whole demeanor had changed, her mindset had shifted. It was just a wonderful transformation for her.
That's really good.
Mm.
So, what are some of the processes you took her through to, because you said she lost like 30 pounds in 3 months? That's
Mhm.
amazing. So,
Yeah.
what are some of the, without going into all the detail, but
Mhm.
what are some of the things you started working with her with that started to help her to get to that point?
So we focused a lot on her day to day, what she was doing when she first got up, what she was eating during the day, and just providing simple swaps for what she was eating. Still not restricting, but just providing those simple swaps. She was very motivated towards the end. She would call me, hey, I'm going to the gym. Or if she had a question, she would call me. And I think just being there for her and even when she struggled a bit, because it's definitely not easy all the time, but just being able to talk through what she was dealing with in her struggles and what she finds hard, it helped her, just giving her that motivation, and she got through it.
That's
She got
fantastic.
through it.
That's fantastic. So
Yeah.
you touched on something else in that, which is support, like
Mhm.
doing things. My pastor always says you can't be your best self by yourself.
Right.
So having a coach, having
Mhm.
a trainer, having even a therapist,
Right.
somebody, a
Mhm.
accountability partner,
Mhm.
somebody to walk alongside you,
Exactly.
either for support or for
Mhm.
guidance and
Exactly.
training is
And
super important.
and I just wanna let the woman know that there's no shame in trying to look for that support of having an accountability partner. Some women may think, "Oh, that'll make me look weak, that I need someone by my side." It does not. It does not. We need that. We can't walk this journey alone. I've had coaches, and I don't know what I would do without my coaches and my accountability partners. We all need somebody, and it can really help us on our journey for sure.
That's so true.
Mhm.
Because we don't know everything about everything.
Right.
So, I
Mhm.
mean, I'm a big believer in ask an expert, ask somebody
Mhm.
that's at least a step ahead of me to
Yeah.
help me get to where I'm going. So,
Yeah.
absolutely no shame in that. And I think it takes a lot of strength to ask for help.
It does.
100%.
'Cause it's some women that it's easy to get that sense of pride, "Oh, I don't need anybody. I can do
Mhm.
this on my own," but that's not the case. That's not the case.
That's
Shouldn't be the
so
case.
good.
Mhm.
Not the case at all.
No.
So, for the woman who feels overwhelmed or discouraged, what are the first three small steps she can take tomorrow morning to
Mhm.
get her started on her wellness journey?
So, waking up first thing in the morning with gratitude, thanking God, don't reach for your phone the first time you wake up. Open up your physical Bible, even though we have Bible apps on the phone, but it's easy to get distracted and get off the app. But just take a moment to be present in the morning before everybody gets up. If you have kids and you have to wake them up at a certain time, get up a little bit earlier so you can just have that moment of grounding before you start your day. Drink water, lemon water, first thing in the morning instead of coffee, because lemon water can definitely cleanse your system. And then Start out with a really, really protein packed breakfast, a balanced breakfast. I love smoothies first thing in the morning. I'm a smoothie girl, but there are other foods that you can eat first thing in the morning too.
That's really good. And
Mhm,
again, those are simple
mhm,
fixes,
mhm.
and a lot of them don't take a lot of effort.
No.
Keep your mind
Mhm,
clear in the morning. Don't
mhm,
pick up your phone first.
mhm.
Have water first as your go to. And I would love for women to try that. And I
Yes.
want to hear from them. So I want
Mhm,
you all to comment. I want you to try.
mhm.
Start with gratitude. Don't pick up your phone. Pray,
Yep,
read your scripture, and water.
yep,
Try that, and then y'all come back. Do it for 7 days, and then
yep,
come back and tell us about it. So Portia
yeah.
can cheer you on.
Yes. No, try not to drink coffee and just see how you feel. Do the
Yeah.
water instead of the coffee first thing.
That's so good. I
Yeah.
love that.
Mhm.
And those are things all of us can do, really, literally tomorrow. Takes no
Exactly.
preparation.
Nope.
It doesn't take a trip to the grocery store yet.
Nope.
That'll be the next step.
Yep.
But that's something really manageable. And I
Mhm.
think you can even do that, like I said, for 7 days.
Yep.
After that, giving yourself a pat on the back, like really rewarding yourself
Mhm.
for making that gradual step
Right.
that could make a huge difference. So
Mhm.
I love that. Okay, what's a simple mindset shift that a woman can break out of as far as all or nothing thinking? So
Mhm.
a lot of women feel like, okay, I'm getting ready to do this. I got to get a trainer, go to the gym, change my diet. I got
Mhm.
to do all this or it's not going to work. So for the woman who says that, really as an excuse, maybe subconsciously, as an
Mhm.
excuse not to do anything, what's a
Mhm.
simple mindset shift that we can have that can help us to get started?
So I look at it as consistency is better than perfection. Choose one thing that you want to get better in
That's good.
and do that consistently and then add on after that. Because when you try to do everything at once, it's so overwhelming. It is when you're trying to do 60 minutes in the gym every day, you want to start meal prepping every day and you're just everything at once is overwhelming. So that's why you're like, I'm not gonna do anything at all because I won't get to where I want to be because I can't do it all. But no, just choose one thing and do it consistently over time and see the results because even changing one thing can make a huge difference with how you feel. And then when you see that change, "Ooh, let me start doing this now." And then soon it'll just become a part of your lifestyle where you're it's just an everyday thing now.
That's really good.
Mhm.
And you said you can measure the result. So it's very easy to see if one thing made a change with you
Mhm.
than if you did 10 things at once. You don't
Mhm.
know where the result is coming from. So
Exactly.
integrating things one at a time, you can see how each thing impacts your life. That's
Exactly.
strong. I love that. What's one thing about hormones that you wish all women understood?
I wish a lot of women understood that environmental factors, outside factors can affect your hormones just as much as food can. Because as we mentioned, it's not all about the food, even though that's an important part. It's not all about the food, but it's all about other things that are happening around you that is affecting your hormones and just getting down to the root cause of, okay, why are my hormones? Why am I not balancing my hormones? Is there anything in my lifestyle that's causing me to feel like this? Because even women who don't go through periods every month, their cycles might be irregular. Okay, what is causing that? Or do you have a lot of stress in your life? Is there something within the core, any unforgiveness within you that you have towards a person? Because that can definitely affect your hormones.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think
Mhm,
we underestimate the
mhm,
power that how we interact with others, how we feel
mhm,
about others and think about others,
mhm,
unforgiveness,
mhm,
how those things can manifest horrible things in our
mhm,
body and really
mhm.
wreak havoc on us. Okay, I want to talk about your program,
Yeah.
Organically Rooted. What does
Mhm.
that name mean to you?
Organically rooted, I came up with that name because I want women to feel like they are grounded in their health and wellness. I don't want because I've been through it. I've been swayed. I've been swayed back and forth. Okay, this trend, that trend, but finding what actually works for you can keep you organically rooted and on track on your health and wellness journey.
That's really good.
That's what, yes.
That's really
Yeah.
good. So, what does a 12-week journey with you feel like for a woman starting out?
It's very personal. It's very personal. It's based whatever needs the woman has, whatever they're dealing with, it's very individualized. So I coach one woman that might they might have different needs and than how I coach another, just different resources that I have, but it's very personalized and I don't so to say it in other words, when I get on a call with a client and then I close and then I get on another call, it's not like scripted at all. Like what I said to that woman, I'm going to say to this woman. It's very individualized based on what they're going through in their life.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
You mentioned wanting to incorporate more of a faith-based perspective
Mhm.
into your coaching. How are you starting to do that little by little, whether it's implicit or explicit?
So just reminding the women that I work with that our bodies are a temple and how would God see this decision that I'm making or this mindset shift? How is this affecting me in my faith? Because when you have a negative mindset, it can cause bitterness to creep up inside. Okay, so how does God see that? He definitely doesn't want us to be bitter. So I think just realizing that what we're doing, everything that we're doing, all the steps that we're taking to better our health and wellness to get 1% better every day is glorifying God. And that's what I want that message to be.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And again, anchor into that why.
Yes.
That's really, really powerful. So, as we get ready to close, if a woman is listening from Texas or Georgia or anywhere on the
Mhm.
planet, how can she start working with you?
So she can email me at the email should be in the
Yes,
description. And she can email me and we'll get on a one-on-one call and I will ask what needs you specifically have and what exactly you need help in and establish an individualized plan for her. And we'll go on weekly calls every single week through Zoom, but also that accountability will be there 7 days a week. If she just needs to talk on the phone about something or has a specific question, I'll be there for her for sure. And there will be a whole bunch of resources that I'll send to her, recipes to swap out maybe a certain food that she's eating that she wants a recipe for that she wants to swap out. I'll provide those for her, but it's very individualized and yeah, I'm just I love it.
that sounds so
Mhm.
good. And that personalized support is really important when
Mhm.
you're making these steps to change your
Exactly.
life. That's really great. Okay, finally, for a woman who feels unsure or doesn't know where to start or maybe a little bit discouraged, what would you say to that woman who wants to make a change but doesn't really know how to get started?
I would say you're closer than you think because it always seems like in those moments of feeling really down and just wondering if there's really a change that can happen in my life, there's a light. The breakthrough is coming. It's just a matter of shifting your mindset and just saying, okay, I'm going to do this one thing until I start feeling better. Just one thing.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Just start with one
Just
thing.
start with one thing. Don't overwhelm yourself with all of the things. Just start with one and know there's hope in that one thing that you start with. Whether that's drinking water first thing in the morning, doing the gratitude every morning to ground yourself. That is one step closer to your breakthrough when you
So
do
good.
that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, if you're a woman who is ready to take control of her health and her wellness and who needs support and someone to encourage you, I want you to reach out to Portia. Like she said, her information is going to be in the description. And I want us to make sure that we check in. So, comment if you're trying some of these things. We really want to know. how it's working in your life.
Mhm.
And we want to be excited and cheer you on. So make sure that you do that. And check out the um, Good Talk Takeaway Guide, which will
Yeah.
have some information to help you get started too. You can download that in the description as well. So, Portia, thank you so
Thank
much
you so
for
much for
being
having
on Good
me.
Talk. I would love to have
You.
another conversation with you in the future, but I really
Yes.
appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much. This has been great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Hey, family. Thank you for watching. And I hope that this episode with Portia Craig gave you some practical steps that you can take to get a head start on your 2026 wellness journey. Don't forget to download the Good Talk Takeaway Guide. It's in the description and it is jam packed with health and wellness tips and things to get you reset and jump started for your 2026 wellness journey. And if you're a woman who's ready to communicate with more confidence, more clarity, and a stronger presence, I want you to join me for the next Confident Communicator Challenge for Women. It's a powerful 5-day coaching experience where I help you elevate your communication skills so that you can step into your next season of greatness with the authority, the confidence, and the clarity that you need to have in order to make your impact. Click the link in the description and get registered. And listen, if this podcast has been a blessing to you and you want to keep these conversations going, please consider contributing to my Buy Me a Coffee page. It is located in the show notes. Every contribution helps us to reach more people with these conversations that really matter and change lives. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, make sure to share, make sure to comment, and please subscribe to this podcast. Every subscribe helps us to continue to do what we do here at Good Talk with Tiffany Santana. God bless you, and I'll see you on the next episode, Good Talkers.